Good afternoon. This is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com, and I am here today to go over the play of the day. The play of the day, and basically the play of the week. This is the play of the week. I mean, there's 2 more days left of the week, but, well, you know what? It's earnings season. I could get a bigger play than this between now and Friday, actually. But for now, this is the play of the day and the play of the week. This is Crus. I got up this morning, I looked at this gap, I said to everybody in the trading room, this is perfect, and we don't need to do anything else. And I hadn't even rated it yet. I hadn't even rated the thing yet, and I knew it was perfect. And it was perfect. So let's just go over this. First of all, this is what happened in the morning. So this is all this morning. Let me go back. Get up in the morning. Seen this happen, I'm watching it. So I rated it, and I knew it rated really good, so I had decided I was going to do it. And I was watching, actually, I had 2 picks, 2 top picks today, but I really like this one a lot. Now, this was rallying, and people were asking me in the room, and they were saying, wait a minute, this is rallying now a lot, like a lot pre-market. And I said, you know, yes, it is, except the gap is still intact. It's still holding the gap. And then my intuition kicked in, and I said, you know what, Melissa, this is going to work. And I just felt that it was going to work. And it also rated well too. But I'm saying the rally in here did not take me off the gap. Very, very, very good chart to learn and study for a lot of reasons. But specifically this. This morning when I rated it, in fact, let me get my sheet. I said that in an ideal world, it would stay, you know, hold $20 and not boop above that in a rally. And then it did. This is pre-market. But I was okay with giving it like a maximum level. I even had resistance up to this, up to 2066, that I was considering shorting it. But I really didn't want it to go up there. 2060 was a big number. 2028, 2024, 2023, 2019, this booped up to 2016. So it actually stayed under 2019. But it went over 20, and I said, I still know this is great. I still know this is terrific. Here's my notes. Set up by no later than 9:45 a.m. Show immediate weakness within the first 15 minutes of trading. In an ideal world, Crus does a 1-minute low or swoosh and holds $20. Look what it did. This was so great. Oops, hold on here. Let's go to today. What? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that chart. This is a 1-minute chart. That is a thing of beauty right there. Perfect. All right, so let's go back here. So it ran up over that number, though, in the morning, and I said, we are not giving up on this. I know this is going to work. I have 100% conviction. It opened at $20. The high of this bar at 9:30 was $20. It was perfect. Not only was the gap perfect, but the way that it opened and traded was perfect. This was so, so, so perfect. As soon as I saw this happen, as soon as I saw it happen, I called it and I spotted it right in the room and I called it and I said, that's it, I'm taking it, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. And I put the stop over the high of the day. That was it, I got in. I knew right away it was going to work. Because I knew exactly what it was supposed to do. When something does what it's supposed to do, you take it. You take it immediately. And then I ended up getting filled. It was like 1986 and change because this bar is moving really fast. And then this bar opened and booped up. And I said, this is aggressive. But I said, this wasn't the real trigger yet. And then I gave the real trigger. And the real trigger was 1967. And then you could have played this so many different ways today. I mean, so many different ways you could have played this today. But I guarantee you that this entry that I called in here was perfect. And, you know, I really own this time frame. I own this first 5 to 15 minutes of the trading day. I tell you, I'm so proud of myself for figuring out these entries right when I know they're going to set up and go. I'm so proud of myself for figuring out these gaps. To get up in the morning and know this was perfect and not get off this thing with that rally, to not get off of it with that kind of rally that it did in the morning. And here, let me explain to you why. Crus has been in a downtrend here for quite some time. Large money positions have been taking this short as a core trader, a swing trader. Traders have been shorting it. And therefore, when this ran down pre-market and hit $19, which is a whole number, it bounced off of it. And that's all that happened in the morning pre-market. A hard bounce off of $19 that was short covering, not buying. And so, and actually looking at this, you can see that it was almost machine generated because it was too taily here, too crazy like this. So, you know, again, we're trading with machines and things. So the machine may say, listen, we're taking some out at $19 when it hits that number. This is a target for in a swing or core trade for people that are shorted. But it didn't mean the move was over. It didn't mean the gap wasn't good. The gap was good. The move wasn't over. And I said, if this broke under 1875 today, it's a goner. This actually went so much further than I even thought it could go today then. But actually, you know what, this morning, I didn't know exactly where to open and break. This morning, I had the target here at 1650. It will get there. I mean, this will get there. This had such a big day today, though. I wouldn't be surprised if this ran red hard another day down at 1650 tomorrow. I would not be surprised if this sets up again and runs red tomorrow because it had a beautiful day, went past the deeper target today. Once it got going, I did say 18, but it went under 18. I want to put it past this thing to have another red day tomorrow, down at 1650. Or rest and then break it. But do you understand why that's what's really went on here? So, you know, it just came to me. It came to me in the moment that I read what was going on here and realized that this wasn't buying and that it was fine to still short this thing if it's set up correctly, which it did. I mean, it absolutely did. It did everything that I had on the sheet. It did everything that I wanted it to do. So what do? You take it. You take it. You take it. This is called 100% conviction. This is 100% conviction. You don't hold back. These are the days that I love to trade. And when stuff sets up like this, and you know how many people are looking at this and they don't know what to do with this? This is the reason why it really pays to get good at one strategy. It pays to get good at one strategy because when you're used to doing something over and over and over and over and over again, 200 days a year for umpteen years, you are not taken off the thing that you like by one little hiccup, and you read it for what it really is, which is you're reading the price action and what's really going on in the overall picture of the chart. And what was going on in the overall picture of the chart was today it gapped down, and it was a new gap that was a good gap that's going to continue the direction that it's in right now, but it doesn't mean that people aren't going to take profits along the way. And that's why sometimes these gaps might even fail the day of the actual gap, but then go and crush on top of themselves the next day and still continue deeper lower. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work overall on the chart. But today that didn't happen. This worked beautifully. I mean, this just dropped all day. There were so many plays in here. So many plays in here. But the best one was the one that I called right in the first couple of minutes of the day. And I just owned that period with taking entries. It's aggressive. But if you learn how to play like this is how you're really going to profit. You take the trade, you're up in money immediately, and you know you've got it. You know you've got it, and then do whatever you want to do with your money management. Now, I want to talk about the setup here in the 5. Boy, was this so nice. I love trading. I love what I do so much. I really have 100% conviction and know that the way to make money as a day trader, swing trader, core trader is to do one thing well. To do one thing well and know it so well like the back of your hand that you do it and make money. You only need one thing. Although if your one thing doesn't have momentum, it's going to be hard for you to profit, but gaps have momentum. This is pure momentum in the day. More than $2 for this little guy here. Let's look at how much is the biggest bar. Well, this one back here was pretty big. Yeah, this one back here was huge. That was the biggest one, around $5 or so. Not quite, but yeah, but still. All right, let's go look here. So this was all going on, and I know people were wondering what's going on. In the time that this was happening, I said, this is fine. It's not doing anything wrong. It's not doing anything wrong. I even lowered my stop then for what I was holding on to way up here because I just didn't want to get taken out of this. I didn't want to get taken out of this at any cost. And quite frankly, the market was running red here. And this wasn't budging yet and hadn't broken the low of the day, but it wasn't doing anything wrong. Let's go back up to pretend this didn't happen yet. So this was all going on, and it was setting up in the 5, and I said you could take a brand new trade here, or you can add. But the market was running red, and people were like, when is this going to break? When is this going to break? But I said, you know what? This thing had a hard move really fast, quick. And when that happens, it's got to base out a little bit. It's got to rest before it drops again. So all this was doing was resting. All this was doing was resting. And in fact, hold on, how long did it go on here, the rest period? It was like around 9:40. It was a good half an hour, which seems not like that long of a time, but when you're in a trade and you're waiting for it to break and the market's running red, it is kind of here. Oh, this is what I wanted to show. Wait, let me show this. This actually did swoosh. This actually did swoosh today. This actually was so weak, it did swoosh. This drop down in here is a big move for Crux. This is half the move on the day that happened in the first 5 minutes. This swooshed today. At the time when it opened and I caught the number and did it, I had no idea it was going to swoosh, but it did. So let's go back here to what was going on. So I saw this was set up beautifully here and was waiting for it to base. At this point, you don't know if it's waiting to break or not, or what's going to happen. That's why I was keeping my stop higher. In fact, I had the stop over 75 for a while before I lowered it. This thing happened here. I still said it's fine. I still said this is not doing anything wrong. Stick with it. So we did. And I did. And so then after this, it was just a pop. It was retesting here, retesting. It was fine. But remember, the market was running red and all this was happening. I had 100% conviction this was going to break down. I knew it. I knew at least it would go to 19. At least. Of course, I knew, though, if it broke 1875, it was a goner. And that's kind of where it fell off a cliff. All right, so anyways, I said this didn't do anything wrong because it hadn't triggered yet in the 15. Therefore, this trigger here that happened on the 5, when it backed up on itself here and retested, backed up here and retested, it was fine, even though it didn't break a lower low. It didn't matter right in here. Why? Because the 15 hadn't even triggered yet. And this wasn't doing anything wrong. And it's not like it even rallied above here. It held 45 the entire time. I was prepared to let it ding and do a tail up even in the 50s, but it never did it. It never did it. This thing was so weak and it traded perfectly and it was beautiful. And it did everything right. And even at this point when it came into here, I said you can almost get in a new trade here, but this is, you know, at this point here, I'm thinking that the target's 18. It actually dropped, did it drop $1 from there? Although it was 87, yeah, so no. I said you could take a whole new trade in this, put the stop over here, but I didn't think it had that much more to go. One of the targets was 1835 before the 18 here. One of the numbers was 1835. It sat on that 1833 for a little bit and then broke down here to 1808. $18 really was the target. It went through it though. What happens is with momentum, this actually went 13 cents through it. Let me go show you on the one when it bounced. Boy, was this a beautiful trade. Boy, was this a beautiful trade. To take that call I made in the morning was aggressive and it was terrific. So great. Here. So, I mean, if you're even in this through the $18 number, then you got to get out at some point in a bounce. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to book the trade, you know. And really the ideal way to do this is to do an ad like I did on the 5 and take it down and piecemeal out. Now, I want to look at the afternoon here because you know what happened with this? After the crush down, this rallied all the way back up here and reset up again. Let's look at the 5. Now, why would you even do this? I mean, first of all, you'd be out of the whole trade usually in the morning anyways. And this actually fell into 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, which is a reversal time. But this reset up again. What time did it reset up again? Right at the 2 o'clock. It set up on the 15 right before that when it did the topping tail here at 145. But do you see here it actually triggered at 2 o'clock reversal time. It actually triggered a 2 o'clock reversal time, but the stop would have had to be over the topping tail. You could have lowered the stop then over this red bar once it broke and taken it down again. It actually did not break a new low of the day, but I think it's just because it ran out of time. It got down to 17.90 then on the afternoon play. You could have made money chunking this out again and up in here. I mean, this even, look. When these things set up and work and break, they're done. They're kaputzi. And what happens is then you can play them all day. You really can play them all day. I just love the way that these moves happen though in the morning. The big, big, big moves happen in the morning and follow through. But the place to get in them is the first 15, 30 minutes of the day. The first 30 minutes of the day, that's the time to get in these things. That is the way to trade these things. That is the way to trade. And you have to learn how to do it though. It's one of those things where you can't trade the first 30 minutes of the day without learning how. You can't really trade gaps without learning how either, because they move very fast. And if you chase the move and don't put the stop at the right place or don't get out at the right place, you can give back a lot of profit or take a trade that's you're chasing into it and basically the move's over. I'm looking to get out. So into reversal time. So you've really got to know when the time is to be aggressive on these. And the time was today. I mean, I can tell when a gap is perfect before I even rate it because I've been doing my system and learned my system and taught myself my system for so long now. But you can learn how to do these just taking my class and rating them. And if they rate 20 points or higher, they're good. Although I will say I know when something's perfect when I see it. And I knew this was perfect today. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this. And even the hard rally pre-market did not set me off this gap. And I'm very proud of myself for the entry I called in this today, for taking it, for not getting set off of it with the pre-market trading, for reading what was happening there correctly, for knowing that it was short covering, for seeing the bigger target in there and knowing that it was fine to short and aggressive to do and everything was fine and the numbers worked out perfectly. And this is just a great trade. I mean, this is just an amazing trade. And this didn't go like this today because of the market, FYI. This went today because it was a great gap. This was a highly rated gap, and that's the reason it worked, because of the gap. The strategy is everything in this. And then after that, the entries. And if you can learn a good strategy and take the right entries, you're making money. You're making money no matter what you do. Whether you're adding, reducing, whether you're lowering your stop, whether you're chunking it out, whether you're taking 2, 3, 4, 5 plays in this. I mean, whatever you want to do, you're making money. You just have to know what to look for and know when one gap is good and when one gap is not good, and know when one gap is perfect and when one gap is not perfect. So this is the play of the day and probably going to be the play of the week because it was such a beautiful, huge move with a minuscule stop, broke down and fell and fell and fell and broke under the biggest area. And the entry in this was just perfect. And congratulations to those of you that did it with me that had a huge day too. And great job, everybody. This is Crus. And it is April 17th, 2013. Earnings season started yesterday. And here it is, second day of earnings season. Golden Gap, beautiful Crus. Have a great week, everybody. And if you're interested in more information about taking the Golden Gap class, please contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. And have a great night.